I've been sober off alcohol for 6 years now. October 4th of 2018 was when I first quit drinking. People ask me often how I got sober. I used to drink a lot. People that listen to my music might relate to my music if they drink a lot, because I would often talk about that struggle, the positives and negatives about being such a heavy drinker. My routine for many years was I would go to the liquor store and buy a pack of cigarettes and a 12-pack of Pacifico beer, and that would be my daily intake, which couldn't be good for a human body. And that was on like regular days. That's not including days where I was partying, you know. I would step it up on those days. But it's funny because like I would live near liquor stores, and like, yeah, I would get to know the guys that ran the liquor store, and after a while, like even they would be like, dude, you need to slow down a little bit. But anyway, so anybody who drinks a lot and kind of is concerned about their own well-being, they start doing this stuff where you do sober October. You don't drink in January. You go for 30 days. You go for 50 days. Maybe even you go for 100 days with no alcohol. If you start doing that kind of thing a lot in your life, you probably have a problem. People that don't have a problem don't have to do stuff like that. But anyway, in 2018, I was living with my friend Davey. For many years, I had lived by myself and hung out mostly with other people that had drinking problems too. But Davey doesn't. He's one of my best friends. So once he started living with me and witnessing my lifestyle, maybe he became a little concerned, because one day I came home after a particularly hard bender, and I was outside, and I told him that I was going to quit for a little while. And he goes, "You always quit for like 30 days. Quit for 2 years. Quit for 2 years." And I was like, oh. He's like, "Quit for 2 years. Have integrity. Tell yourself you're going to do it now and do it." And I was like, "Yeah, man." And I just did it. And, long story short, I did quit for 2 years. And when the 2 years was over, I wasn't going to go back. I've kind of realized how much better my life was without alcohol. That said, around that time, how you guys doing?
Hey, not too bad.
That's good. Yeah, around that same time, once you're 2 years into quitting booze, at least for me, I can only speak from my own experience. When you're like 2 years, really between 1 and 2 years, that's when like the fucking depressing feelings that I guess you've been trying to suppress by drinking every day, they start to come up. And at least for me, I got a real severe depression that kicked in, and it coincided with COVID happening too, which I don't think helped. And it was really, really tough at that time. But I think the fact that I was already 2 years into sobriety made it so like I was clear enough to know that going back to drinking would not be helpful. You know what I'm saying? I knew I had developed enough like self-care, like not self, like caring about myself, not care as a verb, like care as a, as a feeling. Like I cared about myself enough to not go back to it. And I've been sober off alcohol ever since, and now I'm about 6.5 years in. And it does, like they say, get easier and easier. They say that in Alcoholics Anonymous. I tried to go to Alcoholics Anonymous. I went to many Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, and for me, it doesn't work. It works for other people. It doesn't work for me. I think it works for people that require like a community or whatever. But for me, every time I went in there, I'm like, so we're just going to talk for the rest of our life about getting fucked up, almost in a way where it romanticizes it. And the whole idea behind Alcoholics Anonymous, like the number one thing they say is that you're powerless. I am powerless and I cannot change. And I don't believe that. I don't fucking believe that at all. I think you can change, and I certainly don't want to make myself powerless. I mean, I would be in AA and there'd be people that are speaking, no offense, just my personal thing. There'd be people that are like, "I've been sober for 40 years. My last drink was when I was 18. I'm 58 now, and I've been coming to AA every day since." And I'm like, that is not for me, dude. That is depressing. That is like you're 58 and or whatever. I don't know if I did the math right, but you're still living in your 18-year-old addiction, like the addiction of your youthful self. That's not where I'm at. I'm at like, let's fucking actually fix the problem and not just, live in a new addiction, which is the addiction to going to addiction school or whatever, which is basically like a church that people go to and drink coffee and smoke cigarettes and reminisce about the good old days when they used to get fucked up. I don't get it. It's not for me. That said, I think with AA, I think it's like what I've heard from people. It's like the meeting itself is one thing, but it's like the afterwards where all the addicts get together and they're hanging out, smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee and talking, and just knowing that there's other people going through the same struggle as them. I think that's where people find the value of it. It's more like the community thing. But for me personally, it wasn't for me personally. My personal opinion is if you want to know some tips on how to stay sober, the number one thing you can do is physical activity. If you want to drink, go take a walk. If you want to drink, go to the gym. If you want to drink, go to do yoga. For me, meditation is mad helpful. Yoga is the best. I think yoga is one of the best things that you can do in life. But dude, even just going outside and taking a walk. Speaking of taking a walk, Quinn is, my man Quinn just did a fucking straight up slalom / Roger Rabbit dance from the 90s around those rocks right there. I can't believe you didn't fall. Speaking of not falling, I'm still sober after 6.5 years. And yeah, the main tip I tell people is do physical activity. That's the best thing for me personally with sobriety. Just go fucking run, go walk, go hike, go do whatever you do. It's something like once you're done that, the urge will go away a little bit. I will say that my new addiction is like ice cream and milkshakes and sweets and stuff. When I was drinking, like I did not understand how people would enjoy sweets so much, but I didn't realize it. Like, drinking 12 beers every day, that's just basically sugar. And every time that I was off it, even when I would quit for 30 days, like I'd get these cravings for like ice cream and shit. Side note, I remember that when I lived in Venice, I would go to the same liquor store every day, and right in front of the counter, there was this big ass, the ice cream things like this. And I remember one day the liquor store pointed to like every pile, like there'd be a stack of like Ben and Jerry's Cherry Garcia, a stack of like Haagen-Dazs oat pecan or whatever. And he would tell me that every pile represented a person that would come in there every day and buy an ice cream and that was their flavor that they got every single day. And I remember being like, damn, that's crazy. They buy ice cream every day. And he looked at me, he's like, see that pile of Pacifico right there? That represents you. That's what you come in here and buy every day. I was like, oh shit, I get it. Crazy. But yeah, I don't know if that's the greatest story on how I got sober, but that's what it was. What's going on, y'all? How you doing?
How's it going?
Good. I don't know what to tell somebody, man. I can tell you this. You kind of have to really, really want to quit. You just have to, I don't know if something has to happen to you or if you just have to get old. Like, I quit when I was 39 and I thought about quitting. I quit when I was 39 and I thought about quitting multiple times before then. I know that I realized, oh shit, I have a problem when I was about 22. Because, when you're in high school and college, you drink, but you're drinking in social situations and whatnot. And I remember I just had a moment, the first time I ever lived by myself, where like I was just like, I got really drunk by myself. And that I was like, oh shit, I think I might have a problem here. When I first moved to LA, I didn't know anybody. That's when I started really drinking hard too. And it's tough because for me, like, I'm a musician. I'm allowed to drink at work, and the two things would go hand in hand a lot. Sometimes I would just get drunk and make a song and wake up in the morning and be like, damn, that was really good. You know what I mean? So you kind of start to think that it's like part of the process, which maybe it is, but you know, after a while it ruins the process. After a while it will like turn an 8-hour session that you're supposed to have of recording into like a 1-hour session, then a 1 hour of if you're kind of fucked up session, then the rest of the 6 hours you're just getting fucked up. And yeah, I don't know what to tell somebody who's struggling out there themselves, other than you know, I don't have anything for that. I can only tell you what I did, you know. It probably helps to do art and shit. That's what I made music about it, you know. I don't know. That's all I got.